If you lost access to easy seller leads, what would that mean for your business?
It would hurt me.
Hey, Mark, nice to see you again. I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me. For
Hmm.
people who may not know you, can you share a little bit about your business and what you focus on?
Absolutely. My name is Mark Ritter. I'm out of Baltimore, Maryland, and I've been involved in real estate for the last, I don't know, 27 years. Majority of that time on the mortgage banking side. I've been on this side of the world as a realtor team leader for the last 8 or 9 years, and primarily focused on myself as far as my own production on the listing side. At one time, it was probably, I don't know, 80/20, 80% listing, 20% buy, but now it's probably more or less 70/30. But my focus has always been on listing.
Right. Are you a team leader? Are you an individual producer or both?
Both, 100% both. I will always live on the front lines.
Okay. Now you're in your second year of easy seller leads. Time flies, right?
Yeah, it
So
does.
let's go back to 2024 before easy seller leads.
Okay.
What was going on in your business then?
So at that point, I had established a relationship. Whenever it seems like whenever you start out in real estate, you're always on the either you start in the leases, you start in the rentals, then you go to buy side, and then trying to bridge over to the listing side is always a challenge. I had ended up partnering with Ideal Agent out of Florida, out of Tampa. Basically, looked at that as far as a loss loser because I was giving up a significant portion of the commission on the listing side in order to get to the listing and fine tune my game. And through the course of time, we did significant numbers with them, grew it out. But then when the market changed and their world changed, they collapsed. And I was building my business strictly off of referrals and trying to find that source to help me bridge over to the listing side, because that is definitely a challenge out there reaching to the sellers.
So you were buying leads and paying a massive referral fee at the close of escrow.
Correct.
People think that's an inexpensive way to acquire leads, but it's really the most expensive way to acquire leads, isn't it?
I would agree with you. Again, I looked at it as a loss loser. If I was giving up that significant piece of the pie, that I was definitely have to work that relationship, establish a relationship to build it out, to get to that next referral in order
Right.
to really make it profitable. But I knew there were other sources, there had to be other sources that could propel me forward without necessarily giving up my second child.
Are you working mostly buyer leads at that time versus seller leads? Is that the kind of referrals you were getting?
Yeah, I was working all realtor.com, Zillow, referrals, all buyer. And that's where I was, with the growth of being a realtor, I wanted to get to the listing side. I wanted to be on that side. I wanted the business to come to me.
Right. Was there a specific moment when you realized something needed to change?
Yeah, driving all over the world. So that's as a buyer's agent, sure. I mean, I was schlepping everywhere. You're going in Maryland, small state, but you're going four corners at certain times because you're chasing that commission. You're chasing that buyer. Some of them could be one or two or three houses. Others could be 10 or 15. So on the buy side, I like the buy side if it's contained within, the realm of being close to Baltimore, but otherwise one of my associates is going to run it. But on the listing side, it's quite different. From a time standpoint, I'm much more efficient and effective.
So that was the mental shift you made. You really wanted to make a conscious effort to shift from being a buyer agent focused agent versus a listing focused agent.
Definitely, because of time element. From the time element aspect, the buyer agent, if I'm driving an hour and a half to go out towards Western Maryland, I'm losing time as far as the effectiveness because my skill is definitely with the customer hand to hand. But if I'm here in the office or within 30 minutes to an hour, I can really maintain my schedule and be much more efficient and effective.
Well, listings give you leverage, right? I mean, listings really multiply a lot faster than buyers. So not only do they require less windshield time, they really are a lead magnet for more buyer and seller leads. Is that your
100.
experience?
Absolutely. I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, definitely. Like you said, you want to get signs out there everywhere. Your name gets out there, Zillow. I mean, it's everywhere when you're starting to stack the wood, especially in a market right now where we've had such affordability issues in the market that this next wave in the market, I think, is going to be huge. I think it's going to be bigger than COVID. So the signage, getting it out there, stacking the wood as far as the listings, no doubt. Absolutely.
So what were you hoping would improve when we first connected?
No clue. You know what? I didn't know what it was. I saw it. I believe I saw it on either YouTube, probably Facebook. I don't spend well, I do now, but I wasn't spending a great deal of time. I came across it because once again, I was on the prowl. I was looking for a relationship. I was looking for seller leads and just took the shot. I didn't know what it was and took the shot, attended the Zoom call. And from there, it opened my eyes, not just because just the way the integration with the AI, because AI is just evolving day after day and just absolutely mushrooming. And at that time, thinking how you were utilizing AI was not even a concept I could figure and really understand. Not that I do now, but still.
So in the beginning, you went on that initial Zoom call. Was there anything that made you uncomfortable, anything that you were unsure about before you got started?
I would say that just like with any lead flow, there's always that pause because most of the realtors out here, the ones that are on the prowl, having success, doing the big numbers, we've been around the world. We've been around the world from a lead flow standpoint, from the Zillows, the Realtor, the Trulia, to the Op Cities. I mean, you can name it. And I think just I wanted validation. I wanted to know, okay, this feels right. Is it right? And I had the ability of reaching out to some of the individuals that have utilized or had success with easy sellers from Ohio to California to Kentucky to Florida. And it wasn't like we'll give you two or three names, we'll give you five, six, seven names. And that really affirmed that this was legit, that this was right.
And that made you feel more comfortable getting started.
Definitely, because I wanted to be on the seller side. I wanted to step further into the listing side. And the whole AI, again, just seeing what that could do with expired and for sale by owner and canceled, really, I thought with where the market was and with the pressures in the market, that with the cancellations in the market, I just thought this could be not a perfect storm, but it could be something that could be really, utilized and drive that success. And then once I got further into it and saw the coaching, okay, I'm good.
So when we started working together, obviously that's what happened. What was the first thing that stood out for you? You just mentioned coaching. Was it the coaching or was it something else?
I mean, the coaching 100%, but you know what it was? The strategy. So the strategy, I had, success on the listing side. Sometimes you're going in, 90% of the game is attitude. The other, you break down the percentage, the other 10% can be your efficiency or your energy. We had a lot of success, but every time I went into a listing appointment, it wasn't a set formula. You're kind of grabbing at straws. And this really, the strategy, presentation to the exposure, to the strategy, to the pricing, and bringing that all together, a formulated strategy just gave me clarity. And look, I'm A-type personality. I'm go, 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 go. And when you're a little bit all over the place, you are all over the place. And I was all over the place, even despite the success that we had. And this helped me really narrow my vision down to applying and being flexible within the realm of the principle itself. And it's been night and day.
So was that different than what you expected? I mean, we told you about the 10-day strategy, over Zoom when we met. How was it different than what we talked about? I mean, you could see it, but you just didn't really see it apply. You weren't sure if it was going to work or not until you did it.
Yeah, because 100% I came into it, I'm open minded, but hearing from the West Coast style versus the East Coast style, hearing the concept as far as listing at the top of the market where everybody wants to list at the top of the market, negotiate down as opposed to creating the demand, creating as far as the urgency, the scarcity, the fear of being left out was so foreign to me. Even though in some instances I may have stumbled onto doing it myself, it just helped me narrow down. And I had no clue as far as the 10-day strategy and what that was all about.
All right. So now you obviously know that it works, but after we got you set up, how long did it take for you to see results?
Right away. I mean, within a few days, I had my first appointment. Within the first, I don't know, 30 days, 45 days, we had our first settlement. I started applying it. If it wasn't a lead from Easy Seller, I was basically mandating that the approach, the 10-day sales strategy, I was incorporating that into my one overall strategy from the listing side standpoint.
So you weren't just using the strategy and stuff that you were learning and coaching on the leads that we were generating. You were using it in all your presentations across the board. Now,
100%.
have you taught it to your team too?
Yes. I've taught it to one or two of my associates that I utilize as far as a backup to me in regards, like, for example, if I don't mesh with somebody or just that take that extra approach to somebody I didn't get. So I have Harry and I also have Dave Kugler that I'm utilizing and teaching the concept to where they've been in the room with me multiple times. But yes, 100%.
At what point did you feel like things were actually working?
From jump. I think right away. Not even the concept, but just the strategy. Nobody teaches you a strategy as far as how to work with a seller or to even take the initial approach and talk about the market, utilizing data and then looking at that data. Okay, here's the data. Here's what's going on in the market. Here's how we overcome it. And that's where the pricing, as far as the presentation, exposure, strategy, and pricing, the 4 points comes into play with how we attack the market, how we have success in the market, and how we get you the most money for your sale, or your price or more. So it just eliminated and helped me focus.
Now, you got off to a pretty fast start. I mean, in your first couple of months, you got multiple listings. Is that right? Can you tell us
Correct.
about what your first 90 days looked like?
It was off the hook. I mean, the first 90 days, we blitzed out. We had a couple significant ones. One was a $1.8 million listing with an 800,000, a 750,000, a 250. We were getting the singles, doubles, and triples, as I call them, the 200, 300, 400, $500,000 transactions. But just like you talk about in your sales coaching calls about having real estate conversations, and they were constant real estate conversations. But what we've also done, and where I mentioned this, I think a little bit in the beginning, is that I was unplugged with Facebook. Now I'm all over Facebook to where I want to be that hustler, that inside scooper, that if I'm not getting that listing, that I can have the ability of going in there and showcasing that listing as an insider to where I can at least highlight it for that for sale by owner or that active listing. It's just, again, it's having conversations on and on and on. But the first 90 days, we came out the gate very, very strong, had several closings, definitely, I don't know, 5 to 10 appointments within that first 90 days. And it's just carried forward from there.
Now, people are skeptical that they can get one or more listings a month. Is it possible?
100%. Absolutely. But the thing is, too, here's the key. And you talk about this in the coaching call, and I'll go back to the coaching call. Just the insight there that you got to put the effort in. You got to be dialed into your dashboard. You got to be connecting to your ISA, your person on the inside that's following up with the lead. You got to listen to the calls and how they're responded to the actual communication with your ISA on the inside. It's also watching that dashboard because, sometimes people want a little bit more information, or there's other times where there's phone conversations instead of listing appointments that are just as crucial, that you need to hear the conversation between the ISA or see how the log of call, how that went. But you got to work it. This is not just sit back and just wait for that listing appointment. It's with any lead flow. You got to dive into this. And I'll say this for anybody out there, you got to buy in. This is real. You got to buy into the concept as far as the 10-day sales strategy. Is it flexible? Of course it is. Every situation is different. But if you're going in there with that approach to having a specific strategy, and sometimes you got to massage it a little bit, but you go out there, you establish yourself as the authority, you're going to get that listing.
So you're in your second year now. So what's changed in your business since starting?
Confidence, 100% confidence. I feel that, and I say this with humility, you put me in front of that client and we're sitting at that table and I go through the market data to the approach of how we're attacking that market data through presentation, exposure, strategy, and pricing, and wrap that up with what sets me apart. there's very few that will beat me across the table. I have that much confidence in the approach, in the strategy, in the other nuggets that we learned through the coaching.
What feels easier about your business now?
What's easier about the business is knowing that if I have a listing appointment, I take the approach like the McDonald's approach. 2 squirts of ketchup, 1 squirt of mustard, a little bit of onion, and out the door. And that's the easiest part now of working with the listings or the sellers or the presentation. I'm not going in there in that door for the first time, squeezing my cheeks and hoping for an outcome or being all over the place. I have a set formula. This is how we do it. And if we need to massage that a little bit or be flexible with that, I understand the parameters with that. Some listings I'll take, some of them I won't. But what's easiest is that I have a specific formula now.
So, how long did it take you to figure out that even though you were going on job interviews, sellers weren't looking to hire an agent? They were looking for a strategy and then hiring an agent to implement the strategy first. Have you gotten there yet where you really internalize that they're shopping for a strategy and not an agent and hire an agent to implement it?
I think I have, but you're still dealing with a lot of, individuals, sellers that have their own concepts as far, just like the buyers we deal with, the buyers out there go out there and hire their cousin's sister's brother or cousin that's doing it part-time for the biggest investment of their life. So sellers on the other end have sold one house or never sold a house, and they're the experts, or they're looking at Zillow, or they're not in tune to the strategy. And that's where it's about the education and showing them and leading them and showing them how to get the results that they're looking to get and how to get there. And that's been tremendous.
How has easy seller leads impacted how you think about growth or planning for your business going forward?
It's impacted me greatly. And where I'm bringing up my 2 associates, learning the strategy. Both associates are $10 million producers. They're gradually working their way from the buyer side to the seller side to expand that and offset that number a little bit as far as buy versus sell. They're learning the strategy, but it gives me the capability of being able to expand that business, pointing them as associates or acolytes or individuals that now know the strategy to go out there and handle that appointment. It gives me the ability to increase my business. There's no doubt.
Has your business gotten a little more predictable knowing that you've got a steady flow of leads and appointments coming in?
To some degree, to some degree, we're fighting some challenges right now and we're having success through that, whether it's from the buy side or the sales side, but it's definitely, I would say yes.
If you lost access to easy seller leads, what would that mean for your business?
It would hurt me. It would hurt me. We went through at the end of 2025, had some personal challenges myself from a financial standpoint. And one thing, just in discussions, because I'm always, with me and my wife, discussion at the end of the year or even leading into the end of the year, looking at different marketing strategies that we're, contemplating for the next year or continuing that next year. And one thing I absolutely would not give up would be easy sellers. One, even though the strategy is so important, the leads are extremely important. The coaching has been, I think, crucial to my development. I'm always looking to learn. I'm always in that whoop or whatever it's called, the back end office, listening to the videos. I'm on the road quite often. Those videos are everything for my training, for my development, for my learning, for my just recalibrating everything as far as my style. It has to be a part of my 2026 and my 2027 going forward. It has to be. The lead flow is solid, but the coaching, even more importantly, has been everything to me.
You've been always nice enough to take calls from other agents who are trying to decide whether or not easy seller leads is the right fit for them or not.
Mm-hmm.
And in an effort to send less calls to you, what would you tell those people? If someone called you today and said, "Hey, is this the real deal? What do you think? You think I should do it? You think it'll work in my market?" Whatever questions they ask you, generally, what is it that you tell them when they're trying to decide whether or not they should move forward or not?
I'll tell them right away. I mean, I appreciate the calls. I don't have any problem receiving the calls. I think it's just so important, with any of us out there on the front lines and all the scams that are out there, because we've all lost money in lead flow. So, I mean, it's not a big deal with taking the call. I would say go. I mean, I always tell them, I go through my own success that we've had, and I share with them that, they have to be dialed in to the Tuesday coaching calls. They have to be dialed in to the dashboard, and you got to put effort into this. It will deliver. I tell them that straight up, but you're going to work it. You got to accept it. And, you have to accept it 100% in regard. This is not a strategy that you come into and you dip your toe into it. You got to master, and it's not difficult, but you got to master the fundamentals. You master the fundamentals, you will blow up, you'll have great success, and you can dominate your market. And I tell them that.
How long do you think they need to be exposed to the coaching calls? And we're doing 3 a week now.
I
How
know, I
long
saw
do
that.
people have to be engaged before they feel comfortable delivering it with the same kind of confidence, conviction that you're demonstrating here today?
I think the Tuesday call, the main coaching call, is so important. It's a must attend. The call with Nick's real good on the Wednesday call, whenever he's doing that for the back end dashboard, IT information, any of the operation standpoint. This other call that you've added also for, I don't know if it's live situations or challenges that, one on one challenges that we're facing out there. I think that's real key. I think initially, I think you got to bury yourself in it. I was told one time that if you want to speak Russian, I'll put you in a room, with somebody speaking Russian, and guess what? After about 30 days, you'll come out speaking Russian. So I think it's the same concept with the approach with easy sellers or the whole strategy that you got to bury yourself. You got to commit. You got to commit to the strategy and learn it because you have access to all the calls that have taken place over the last year and a half to 2 years. When it was 2 years ago, it was quite different for easy sellers from where you are today. And I think just going back through those calls and just listening also to you, you've been on the front lines. You sold real estate. You sell real estate now. So I think listening to those calls and going through the initial 3, 4, 5 videos, I listened to those 4 initial videos as far as the presentation, as far as the open house call. I listened to those over and over again, and I have my associates listening to them. I think you got to really bury your head into the data as far as to get it and to breathe it and to live it for that first initial 30 days.
So, Mark, I appreciate all the time that you've shared with us here today. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would be helpful for somebody who's watching this now?
And I always say it when somebody calls me or reaches out to get a referral on easy sellers is just to highlight the coaching. Look, I love the leads. I love them. I mean, please, it's helped me. We've closed business. We're having success with it. But the coaching, they don't realize what they're getting with you. And I know it's just me and you talking. They don't realize the coaching and how important that is and the access that they have to you or have to Nick as far as the ability to ask questions or to get guidance or to how to cut up a deal. And you've always been there for me. I ask, you help. Nick's always there. I always get the response. I think the coaching aspect of what you give is 10 times more important than the leads.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because nobody comes in the easy seller leads for the coaching. They come in because the leads, because they want more seller leads, they want more consistency in their business. And then they see the coaching, and that tends to change the way they think about it. And is that what happened to you too?
Absolutely. I just, you know what? When I first plugged into the first call, I knew you were my style. I just knew you were somebody that was on the front line, somebody real, somebody authentic that you could talk to and just work it. And as far as asking or guidance or somebody who's done it, and not like look at me, not like there's so many tools, in our industry that just come off the wrong way. And I don't have any time for that. I want, look, I've been high, I've been low. I want real people. I want real information. I want real guidance. That clicked for me from day one. And it just, I think there's tremendous value there.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate the time. We're excited to continue our partnership
Yes,
with
sir.
you. And we look forward to many, many years of success.
Absolutely. I
Thank,
appreciate you. I appreciate all of you.
thank you, Mark.
Yes, sir.